Let's understand one quick difference between the type any and the unknown, and in which scenario you should use the any and which scenario we should use the unknown, and what's the core difference on the compiler level or maybe on the compilation is happening. So let's try to understand with example here. Very first thing, the core difference with unknown and any is if you're performing any operation which is having an any type, so it won't do any type checking when any operation is being performed on that. But with the unknown type, it will allow you to add some value to it. But when any operation is performing on top of any variable which is having an unknown type, so there the type checking happens. And let's confirm with this example now. So let's consider an example. We are having a variable here called value, and in this value, let's say I'll just make it value 1 so that we can be much sure about it. And the data type for this, I'll mention any. Sounds good. So it's a data type called any. I can give any value here. Let's say I'm giving the value 1, 2, 3, or just a number. Let me just do a quick console to verify everything is working perfect. Yes, I'm getting the 1, 2, 3 here. Now here, if I just try to mention like I just want to see some results, what happening here. So the results 1 equals to, in this particular value 1, I want to add number 10 here, or maybe the plus 1. And then I want to see what will be the result for 1. Very first thing, you can observe line number 6, here value 1 plus 1. So this is any type. We can give string also here, we can give anything, and then you're performing the plus operation. So ideally it should not allow you, right? Because instead of this number, I can also give an object here. I can also give a string, boolean, and then performing the plus one is not a good operation. So this is what with any, it is not doing any checking at the compile time. If you're performing any operation which might not be supportable, maybe in this case it is supporting, but it may not support if you are giving any other value. So let's save this and see the output. So we are getting 1 to 4 because we are having a valid value in this case. So if I just make it a string here in this case, so it will start giving us an unexpected behavior here now. So if you see, it is just doing a concatenation. Let's do it more weird about it. And let's say true value. So we are just doing a true false. So now it is happening true plus 1. It's very inaccurate operation here is happening. We can say it's something boolean plus 1. It should give you some unexpected results here. So with boolean true means 1, and it's again plus 1, it's happening 2. So it's not a correct operation that we are doing. So using any data type is very risky because it's not doing any validation when any operation on top of that we are performing. Let's try to do it more weird about it. So let me just say here, let the results 2, and let's try to make it value 1 dot 2 upper case. And here let me just give a value 1 to 3 again. So here it's a number. Let's forget about this line number 6, and here it's a number. It is still allowing you to use 2 uppercase, which is a function that should be applied on a string. So it's not be allowed here. If we are giving a string, then only it should allow. And let's see what we will get at the runtime here. So we are getting some runtime. Our program is getting crashed and saying 2 uppercase is not a function, whatever it could be. And if I give the correct value, it will work very correctly in this case here. And we are not getting any errors. And if you just see the output also, it's very perfect. We are getting, and right now we are not having any two uppercase related functionality. Let's just try to make it a name here. It should work, but it's not very correct when you are giving a number. So we have seen how the data type checking is skipped when you're performing some operation on a variable which is having a data type called any, and how it is risky to use. So let's understand the same example with the data type called unknown. So let's quickly comment this option here and copy the same scenario, or maybe let's do a rewrite here. Value 1, which is having a data type called known. Of course we can pass some value to it, so let's pass it the value, and here let the results 1 equals to value 1 plus 1 we are doing here. Okay, and we just want to console what will be the result inside this. Very first thing, it is started complaining us here. What it is complaining, this is an unknown data type. I'm not sure. In this case, it is 1, 2, 3. The results will come correctly. But let's say if you have given anything different like this will create runtime problems for us. So here only ahead in compile time only, it is started giving us some errors here. You can also observe in our terminal here. So it is complaining that in this case it might be a number, but in next case it might be something different which will crash our program. And even if you hover your cursor, it is very clearly telling the value 1 is of type unknown. So I'll not allow you to perform the plus operation on top of this. And this is what we need a strict data type checking. So with unknown, what we have learned here, it will perform the data type checking when we are performing some operations on it. It is not performing any data type checking when we are doing an assignment, because it's an unknown type. Any data you can assign to it, but it doesn't mean any operations you can perform it on it which will crash on runtime. So what's the conclusion here with comparison we did with the unknown and any? If you want to have a strict data type checking when you're performing some operations on the variables, so there you should use unknown instead of any. And if you don't want to perform any data type checking on your code, then you should use the any. So of course, we should always try preferring unknown instead of using any, because in any it might crash runtime, and in unknown it might not crash. It will give you all the errors in the compile time itself. But it is restricting us. Let's say, for example, when the number is coming here, this operation should be allowed. But apart from number, when it is coming, then only it should not allow us. So the TypeScript should allow us here. So with this unknown, if I just trying to perform this operation here, so it's a valid case here because it's a number. It should allow us. So what are the options TypeScript is providing you to do that? So if I use any here, it's not a good sign here because it's crashing in runtime. So with any data type, what you can do, so you can just say if condition, a type of the value 1 variable, if it is equals to a number, then you're allowed to perform this operation. And let's also put this console inside. So it's one of the very best option we have figured it out. We are using an unknown data type. You can give any value here. You can give a string, you can give anything here, and still you are able to perform the plus one operation, and which will get executed only when the type is number. So if I'm giving a string, it will not go inside this and it will not crash my program. So this is how we are keeping our program more safe with respect to the data type and its operation. So let's try to keep a number here, 1, 2, 3. So it will go the inside here and perform this operation. Very perfect. And let's try to give a string here. So in this case, it will not go inside this if statement. So let's add one more else if statement here to perform some operation when it's a string. So the data type of the value 1 when it is equals to a string. So let's say I want to perform some operations on it. The value 1 dot, I want to make it to uppercase all the values which are present, and I want to console it. Let's see the outcome. Yes, we are getting it. So we have performed some certain if else condition here in the respective scenarios. It will go to the respective if block. And in this case, with unknown, we are making more type safe operation with different data type. And if you have any other data type apart from number and string, so these things will not occur and the program will not crash. So the final conclusion with unknown, if you want to keep your program more safe with respect to the data types where the operations are performing, use unknown. If you don't want to do that, use any.